welcome to the 10th panel discussion, where today we are talking about the 10th episode of Series 10, The Eaters of Light. And today I have Brian Corrigan, Harry Gilbank, and Joey the Pertweebian. Is that your name on Amino now?
Yeah.
And,
I think I'm gonna keep that now.
Brilliant idea.
I
And
like it.
Harry and Brian have channels down in the description. They're quite good. Go look at them. Well, apart from Harry, because he never uploads.
I might do sometime.
Joey has a channel with one video on it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I uploaded it for Tom Baker's birthday. It's like a one of those Hitler memes where he's like pissy about something.
All right, those ones. Just when you said Hitler meme, I was a bit confused. Well, send it to me later if you want it shilled in the description.
Cool.
Right, okay, so let's get straight into it. So what do you think of the Doctor, Bill, and Nardo in this episode?
Bill is the obvious one that's not being served well in this episode, because Nardo was pretty good. I thought it was funny.
I mean, he was better in the
middle
of the series.
He served his purpose.
Bill wasn't that good in this episode.
Well, to be honest,
mostly
Bill, unfortunately, she had lots of good character development for the first 5 episodes. Then she's just been shoved into the background, and it's been quite disappointing because I really liked her for those first 5 episodes. Now she's just kind of And they're going over the exact same stuff, because that scene where she tells the Roman that she's gay, it's literally the same, apart from the outcome, as the one from Knock Knock. It's do we have to go through this again? We get it, she's gay. You don't need to remind us every single episode. I mean, in this episode, to be fair, it did have a purpose, because it was, educating people on the past and how, bisexuality was pretty normal back then. But, just the fact that we've had it so many times before just maybe really exasperated to have it here. And so so just to kind of summarise, this scene would be fine if we hadn't had it so many times already. And the other times were mostly unnecessary.
Yeah, I think her best scene was the one in the hut near the end, where she escapes from the caves. She tries to get them to work together. That was her best scene. I think that was the Doctor's best scene as well.
The best scene is when it looks like when she's going to turn straight for the soldier when he goes in the portal.
Capaldi, I didn't really care for Capaldi in this episode either.
What, really?
But here's the thing with Capaldi is that I feel like with each script he's given, he just does exactly what the script says and doesn't really try to add much to it.
True.
So while it's not that I dislike him in any episode, I think that he's just giving us exactly what the script is telling him to do, and nothing more.
And that's probably why his character varies so much and feels a bit bland at times. But I liked him here, just because, he was just being a bit of a brash bastard. I was like, yes, this is the Capaldi I loved in Series 8. He's back.
Yeah, I think
one episode.
I enjoyed Capaldi in this.
Probably nothing else. He has 3 more opportunities.
See, this is the difficult with balancing 3 time zones, because Harry's on holiday in Australia. The Skype's just everybody's talking at once in a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Harry! What?
So, does anybody want to talk about Capaldi? Because I'll just hand the torch to them, and then we'll wait till you're done.
All right.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, Harry.
All right, okay. I thought it was really good. I really liked... he's just such a bastard. I really liked that, and I did like it showed that he still cares about them, but he's willing to do what needs to be done to get them to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And
then
at the
very
end,
Series 8.
Yeah, and I think this was definitely his best performance I've seen of him, because I don't think I actually watched much of Series 8. I just saw the repeats of Time Heist.
I think the best kind of performance he put in was Heaven Sent. He was pretty good.
Actually.
Do bear in mind, it was one actor carrying 50 minutes, and it was the best 50 minutes of Doctor Who we've had since Midnight.
This is true.
Debatable.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to really dispute that he was easily amazing in Heaven Sent, and that it was his best performance. But he hasn't really quite given a performance like that since, or even beforehand.
He hasn't even given one close to it. He hasn't even tried.
Well, to be honest, I'm not even going to complain, because in Series 10 he's been alright, which is just so much better compared to the Christmas special, where I personally thought his performance was fucking awful.
Oh,
he's been pretty consistent this year.
Yeah, like from the pilot onwards. From the pilot onwards, he definitely feels a lot more like the Doctor, like the first Doctor kind of character, rather than like a old Matt Smith sort of person.
Which is what we want.
Classes.
Well, no, I don't think he feels like Hartnell whatsoever, but he doesn't feel like old Matt Smith like he did in Series 9, so it's a huge step up.
Yes.
Although I still preferred him in Series 8, bar the Am I a Good Man stuff, which was forced and heavy-handed.
Yeah. I would say maybe if I were to relate him to another Doctor, I'd say he's a bit closer to a Pertwee, maybe.
I'd say he's kind of like... Depends on what era you're watching, but like Series 8 is kind of Pertwee crossed with Colin Baker.
Yeah.
I'd actually say it's more like Colin Baker. Like
Series 9, he's whatever the hell he wants to be. And
usually just Matt Smith, but old.
Yeah. And then Series 10, like you said, just consistent. Maybe close to a Pertwee, almost, but not quite.
I wouldn't even say he's anything like Pertwee. He's kind of his own thing, but it's just a little bit bland.
Well, I did like how he did the Pertwee thing, just insult everyone.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, I've missed the Doctor doing that. It was brilliant when he did it. And he was doing that in Series 8 as well. I mean, my favourites, like Capaldi episode, not in terms of the quality of the episode, but in terms of the Doctor in the story, is Mummy on the Orient Express, because he's just such a bastard to everybody, and he's just manipulating them. It's like, yes, this is the Doctor I want.
Hence why Jamie Matheson is the best Capaldi writer.
Yeah.
Imagine David Tennant's Doctor in this episode.
Ugh.
Kill me now.
Yeah, he would have just been going around. Well, you Scottish people are brilliant. I love you Scottish people. You are absolutely brilliant. Human beings, you're absolutely brilliant.
The thing is, Matt Smith would have done the exact same thing as that, though, Harry.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you see, that's why we like Capaldi and Eccleston. Well, I personally like Capaldi and Eccleston more, because, Matt Smith and Tennant just always fucking hyping up humans, whereas, Capaldi sometimes, and always Eccleston, just like, picked another stupid ape!
Yep. Actually, yeah, I think he's like a cross between Eccleston, Pertwee, and Baker, Colin Baker.
Which Doctors haven't we mentioned then? Is he just cross of them all, or none?
He's not as boring as Davison, at least, so...
well, Davison's good in the audios.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, Davison television-wise, he's...
Yeah, I'd say Capaldi's a little less dull, but at the same time, I think Davison's a better character, like, by quite a bit, because he does have a good character arc, and also the character stays consistent.
Yeah. Should we move on to another character?
If you want to.
Everything.
The next category is the Celts and the Romans.
They were alright.
I think the acting with the Romans could have been a bit better.
I thought it was pretty good for 18-year-olds.
Well, the main Roman guy, he was fine. The other ones I just thought were a bit...
Well, they weren't really even present, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, there was only really 2 supporting characters that got any sort of development, which 45-minute syndrome, woohoo.
Yeah. Like, I really didn't care about any of the supporting characters. They just kind of went away. And
I know, I kind of like the main Roman. He was alright, just because he got a lot of
he was okay. As far as the Celts, though, I mean, the main lady, I can't remember her name, but the actress playing...
Or something?
Something like that.
Which actually, can we just stop for a moment and we'll come back to you, Brian? The shit with the crow was awful.
I liked it.
What? It was so stupid.
Yeah. I liked it.
Really?
I kind of liked the crow stuff.
Yeah, it added to the atmosphere.
I like the presence of a crow was good. It was like, crows can really talk, Nadol. And the reason why they say car is because of the Celt.
Yeah, but it's better than babies talking. It's better than having whatever child child.
It's better than one of the worst elements in Doctor Who. It doesn't make it good. I mean, I liked the presence of the crow there. That was fun. But, it was just ridiculous, like saying, oh, crows used to talk to people, but now they just say car in remembrance of this one Celt.
I can't remember who said this in our chat on Amina, but didn't somebody say it sort of fits in with that sort of mythology?
Yeah.
It probably does. I mean, I should know this.
Just shut the hell up, Dylan.
But I don't. Well, yeah, but that mythology isn't real. You do realize.
It isn't real, but neither is Doctor Who.
Well, I know Doctor Who's not real, but just remember the daemons. Science, not magic.
I do think that the time with the crows could have been done a bit better, like used to character development for Car or the other Roman guy.
Lucius, I think his name was.
And can I just say, what was that other Roman guy? And he just kept telling him to shut up. Like, shut up, Cornelius, you twat. Shut up.
That was Lucius.
Oh.
Because he's the main one.
Yeah, and then he did the thing with characters. Like, it happens in every single horror film. Everyone will tell him not to do it. He just goes and does it. And then you're like, okay, how long till he dies? 5 seconds. Not even that, 2 seconds. He died immediately.
Well, it's not as bad as last episode when the moment I saw that guy showing pictures of his future wife to the other guy in Empress of Mars, I was like, he's going to die in 2 seconds. It was so painfully obvious. In fact, I don't know if any of you have seen Alien vs. Predator, but there's a guy,
I have.
It's so obvious that he's going to die because he keeps on talking about his family.
Have I mentioned that I've got kids? Here's a picture of my kids.
Exactly.
My kids. Oh, did I tell you I got kids?
And also,
I've got to keep bringing them back. And
like every single one of his lines, just forcing that down our throats.
Yeah.
So who wants a classics fun fact?
Not me.
Oh well, you're gonna have it anyway. So when the little girl Celt Car is having a little rant at the Roman army, she quotes Tacitus, who said in his book The Agricola, the quote from, allegedly a quote from Calagus. I think that's how he pronounced his name. And basically, he was the leader of the kind of Caledonian resistance against the Roman invasion, because Caledonia is what Scotland was called before it was Scotland. And he said, they make a desert and call it empire, and she said that. And I thought, oh, that's good. I get the reference. So there you go. Fun fact.
Good for you.
Thought it was a good line. And Roman Monroe clearly knows about Rome and Roman Britain, because it was pretty historically accurate.
I bought Doctor Who magazine in the airport, and I read it whilst I was waiting to board the plane, and it had an interview with her in it, and I think she studied it for something, university or for O levels. Yeah.
I feel like I'm the only one on this panel that just didn't really care about this episode.
Oh, I didn't care for it either.
I wasn't like you either.
Okay, did anybody here watch Newt's video on it?
No. Around with it yet.
Okay. In it, he says that it feels like Ronan Monroe tried to write a 3-part serial, and then like we got the whole first part, but then the last 2 parts were condensed into like 20 minutes.
I agree. I mean, it's the problem, man. I mean, this has been a problem throughout New Who pretty much, but it's particularly prevalent this season just because all the episodes are actually quite good. 45 minute syndrome. Sure. It's because I actually feel like I'm missing out rather than just going, phew, glad that's over.
What I compared it to in my head...
We actually want to watch more.
In my head was Empress of Mars.
Yeah.
But
I feel
it's a bit worse than Empress of Mars because the characters, though enjoyable, aren't as enjoyable as the ones in Empress of Mars are.
Brian, see the thing is, Empress of Mars was fine. It fit into its time slot. It fit in everything that was there needed to be there. I don't think it had the atmosphere of this episode, and I think that this episode would be much more sustainable than Empress of Mars over.
Well, that's because by a much better writer, really, Harry.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, Mark Gatiss, but Ronan Monroe is just a very different tier of writer to you.
Yeah.
I mean, Ronan Monroe is definitely better. I personally preferred Empress of Mars, but
I did as well.
Well, I did but I feel like if this had gone on longer, it would have been far, far, far exceeding Empress of Mars.
Yeah, I think the month 3 part could have been shrunk down to 2 parts, definitely, and then given this one another part, like Empress of Mars.
You could say that about literally any episode, though. Every single episode needs another part, or at the very least needs 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Apart from Extremis, I felt like that managed to do everything it needed to do in its time slot. And Pyramid of the End of the World.
Well, that was a bit to be fair, that was a 3-part. That was a 3-part story, so it had more time.
Yeah, but what happened with the third part? The third part was nothing. It was so vapid.
It was just 45 minutes of cock teasers and shit exposition, and solved by the power of love.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can go watch my video on that if you want to see a good rant. And in fact, I can't wait.
I can't save the world. My noddle's broken.
Yeah, I can't wait to review that at the end of the season. Though it's gonna be very tasty. And can I just, before we move on to the next one, can I just say how luscious the location work looked?
Oh, yeah. I think it really added to the atmosphere of the episode and the way it was
washed out a bit.
Together. And it was really washed out and it was really dark and stuff, and I really liked that.
It was done by Chris Palmer, wasn't it?
Yeah, didn't he do... Yeah, he did. He did Oxygen. Human Nature and Family of Blood.
I'm pretty sure he did Oxygen as well.
Yeah, he did Oxygen.
Yeah, he's proven to be one of the better New Who directors. Because what he done here was very, very good.
Yeah, I just think, if it had another episode, it would have been up there.
Yeah, it would have been a modern masterpiece, really, in terms of Doctor Who.
Yeah,
I hope going into the Chibnall era, we get rid of a lot of the writers, but we keep a lot of the directors, because the directors have been pretty solid in New Who.
Yeah, but
I don't see any reason to get rid of the directors.
There's very few criticisms outside of the writing department I'd give. The only things I'd change is less CGI, more practical effects, and get rid of Murray Gold. Yeah. Aside from that, there's nothing wrong with the production team.
Oh, definitely get rid of Murray Gold.
I like the incidental music for this, bar the stuff that's being used season wide, generic
this one,
Doctor action.
The kind of little guitar stuff, that was quite nice. I was like, ooh, we're gonna get a good score. But then he plays the over the top music when the monster's on screen. It's just like, oh,
yeah,
you had to ruin it.
Yeah, and on the CGI thing, practical effects cost a lot, and they do take up.
I'm not saying do all practical effects, but I think it could do more than it currently is, because the CGI just looks fucking shit. And look at it this way. One of my complaints is obviously episode length, and if you're serialized, you're saving a lot of money, because you can reuse assets, which means practical effects would be slightly more viable.
I feel like the monster in this episode could have benefited from practical effects.
No. It would have been too difficult to do.
It would have been too difficult.
It would have been difficult, but I feel like...
No, right, you can't do something like the monster in this episode practically without spending tons and tons of money on it and doing miniatures.
It's not like a big special effects episode either. So if you put a lot of the money toward a practical
you just got to think about it this way, Joey. About how expensive doing the kind of format they have at the minute is. The reason why some of the seasons look a bit shit is because they've had budget cuts, and the reason why Doctor Who does get a good budget these days but still manages to kind of look a bit patchy in places is because we have basically 13 stories here, because they're taking place in mostly different locations, and it just costs a hell of a lot more because you're not reusing assets like you would do if it was serialized.
Yeah. Can you answer a question I have?
Yes.
Okay, so you know the ending, right? How the Romans and the Celts go into the portal thingy to fight off the Eaters of Light?
Yep.
How did they hold them off? That's my question. Did I miss the explanation there? Because they killed an entire legion of Romans. I doubt, that smaller.
I think there was an explanation, but it just kind of went over my head because I wasn't concentrating, because I was basically knocked out by the curry I'd eaten. Not in terms of spice, it was just really filling.
Joey, help us.
I've got nothing. I feel like I want to chalk it up to lazy writing, but I know Rona Monroe wouldn't do that.
There was an
I feel like
explanation. I just can't remember it or put it into words.
Yeah.
Can we?
Either that or it might have
I'm
gotten
afraid
cut.
I'm going to have to like rush us now because we're taking up quite a lot of time. And we're nowhere near finished the panel discussion yet. If that's all right.
See, Brian, this is what happens whenever I'm on something.
All right. The
Yes,
Eaters
it's your
of Light.
fault, Joe. It's always Joey's fault.
Pardon?
The Eaters of Light. We're going to talk about the actual monster of the episode now.
All right.
Go on then.
Go on, Dylan.
Okay, it was okay. The deaths they had were pretty horrifying, but the problem was that you didn't actually get to see it properly kill somebody on screen, and there wasn't really like enough time to build up tension about its presence, so it just kind of felt a little lackluster for the most part. Which it definitely had the potential because like the bodies and like the way of death just seemed like a bit ugh. But it just wasn't really done properly, mainly due to lack of time, but also due to lack of balls. They should have killed somebody properly on screen.
In all honesty, every key factor about this episode went over my head.
Okay.
That happens a lot, does it, Brian?
It goes through
Does
one
that
ear
happen
and
a lot?
comes out the other. All these yanks are the same, Harry.
Exactly. But anyway, on
Sorry,
the
guys.
topic of the monsters, I'd say they were alright. They could have done with a bit more screen presence. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think
And,
that's all
like-
down to budget, their presence.
Well, and also
and
lack
time.
of time, I think, is the main factor.
It's
Although
amazing
I
how
did-
many problems with New Who could be fixed with more
This-
time.
Well, yeah, it's
This
just because
story-
45 minutes isn't long enough for Doctor Who, because you have to go to a different location every episode with different characters every episode, a different story every episode, and develop all of them satisfyingly enough if you want to make something which feels fully complete, which is really difficult unless you're really minimalist like Heaven Sent or Midnight. And even Heaven Sent had an hour long. And it's still
Yeah,
only
this
just managed to fit
episode
everything
needed
in.
way more time.
I think another worth noting that story arc as well. Got to fit that in.
So, the Eaters of Light, I'm sitting there like, when are the Eaters going to show up? And then we only really see a couple of tentacles come around a corner and
Kinky.
everybody screams, and that's basically all the Eater of Light does. It's
Well,
pretty
if you look
lame,
at some-
actually.
Well, if you look at classic, the monsters are always scarier if you don't see them. Because if the effects
Well,
are
yeah, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
I don't
really
believe
work
that's
here
actually
that-
because they're not
That's
in it.
because of lack of time, Brian. Like, you can
And
make
going-
them scary through lack of presence, but it just needs time. Which this episode didn't have. So, I mean, it was only 42 minutes long, and about 5 of that were eaten up by Missy, who will, trust me, will get onto, but... Yeah.
I feel like there might have been, going back to what I was saying about it might have been 3 parts written as that, but there might have been like a whole episode devoted to the Eaters, but again, it might have just got cut down.
Well, no, it didn't get cut down. She probably just had loads of really good ideas, but Moffat's like, oh, you only get to do 42 minutes, Rona, and I'm going to use 5 minutes of that you doing Missy. So, just how the
well,
cookie
I
crumbles.
think the build up to the monster was good because we see the first Roman soldier that's dead on the ground, and it slowly builds up to there. We get to see the field of dead Roman soldiers, which I'm not quite sure how it managed to kill all of them so quickly.
How
But-
well the swords killed them.
I don't know, but then we progress from that on to seeing a Roman soldier that she finds in the pit in the ground being taken and killed.
Yeah, but you don't get a
That's
second
another
kill properly on
problem with
screen.
the ending. The Eaters of Light don't like light or something, right?
Yeah, but they eat it.
No,
So if these guys are going into the portal with just swords and no source of light, how do they expect to hold them off?
They did go inside with some things. I forgot what they were.
yeah, they went inside some light things or something. Don't know.
I mean,
Maybe.
I was kind of struggling to make sense of that because, like, the doctor said, I have a plan, and then they just instantly skip to when the plan's happening. I mean, understand we don't need to see him explaining it, but we do kind of want to see, how they prepare it and stuff, so we get what's going on.
I want technobabble.
I didn't say I wanted technobabble. I just wanted to see them, doing stuff, actually preparing the plan.
Yeah.
then we could probably make a little more sense of it, because it was just kind of really glossed over. And then nothing really goes wrong when they're getting the Eater of Light inside.
It doesn't have time.
It was a really quick
Nothing
resolution.
could go wrong, Dylan.
Yeah, I'm just talking about having, drama, which is like, ooh, how are they going to make it, kind of thing.
I did like the resolution though. I did like the way it was done.
Yeah.
I didn't. I thought it was really rushed, but again, time restraints.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's put it this way: it would have been good had it had more time, and that goes.
Yeah.
And basically, this entire episode, you can sum it up with, it was decent, but it would have been brilliant if they'd had more time.
Yep.
I just didn't really care for it. I'm sure it would have been good if it had more time, but it fell on the sort of
for the
meh
love of
spectrum.
fucking God, extend story length, minimum story length, because this is just getting fucking ridiculous.
We've emphasized.
I do wonder how much control. I wonder how much control over that Chibnall has. Time, how much time they have.
We can just make them 2-parters.
We need a season 22 format.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I'd say not every story needs 2 parts. Stuff like Empress of Mars didn't need 2 parts. It's fine as it is. Because what would you put in there? Just more action scenes that didn't really need to be there.
There are a ton of characters who are underdeveloped in Empress of Mars, but that's a debate for another day.
Yeah, I mean, in Empress of Mars, you could have had a whole part about the actual battle between the soldiers and the Ice Warriors.
That would have been interesting. That would have been fun to watch. I want to see some Ice Warriors going around killing people, and people trying to hold back the Ice Warriors. That's what we come to.
Turning them into tumbleweeds.
They actually got
a couple of scenes where they're against tumbleweeds. When people turn into tumbleweeds and the soldiers fire back, but then it just kind of abruptly ends, just as you think it's about to escalate into something fun.
Yeah.
My problem is there's no sense of danger in that story, but I think that's also applicable to this. There's really no sense of danger. There's no sense.
Well, I think
you could be dead. Any of the characters could die at any point.
Well, that's just because most of the characters you didn't really care about.
No, but you should be scared for the companions, even if you like.
Oh well, yeah, but that's not this episode's fault. That's just New Who in general's fault. It's inability to shock you with what happens to companions.
Yeah.
And the fact
Remember
that
when Katarina died, guys?
Oh well, you just spoiled it if people haven't seen that now.
Yeah, but they don't know which story it's in.
If you don't like it, you can cut it out.
No, I'm going to leave it in as a lesson to you.
Wait, what did he say?
Right, everybody type in the comments, Brian, you spoiled that for me. You're a bastard.
And then call him a C word.
I await the comments.
No, you're allowed to say cunt. Don't worry, Harry.
I'm going to write that down right now so that I remember to type it in the comments.
Oh, is that because you don't actually watch my videos, Joey? You've been caught out?
No, I do. But I'm just going to forget it.
All right.
Right,
Joey,
okay.
here's the test.
I usually don't like watching things that I'm in. I'm like that.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to cut you there, Harry, because we're going to need to move on, because we're going on for ages.
Typical censorship.
Yeah, well, piss off. We're moving on to Missy. What did you
YouTube is censoring me.
Bugger off. What do you think of Missy in this episode?
She was there.
Yep, she exists.
Basically, I have nothing new to say compared to the other 2 episodes. This character development is just really shit because there's no real catalyst for this change, hence making it not believable. I know it could be a trap, but the Doctor would only believe it if there was actually a catalyst to make her actually start, feeling bad about people she's killed, which, by the way, is a huge development for such a long-running character, which really needs to be explained a lot better than it is for me to even take it a tiny bit seriously. And no matter how this turns out, it's just going to be crap, just because it's been handled so ham-fistedly and poorly. And I'm just, every time I see Missy, I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Does anybody else get the feeling that Moffat's sort of getting hard off the idea that Missy and the Doctor are going to be best of friends again?
Brian, do you remember this is the man who wrote the Master in Series 8, well, Missy in this case, kissing the Doctor.
Yeah, he is getting hard
And
off
also writing her as Mistress. As in Dominatrix. As in he's a fucking cook and he wants to get whipped by Missy.
I wonder if he actually thinks he's fooling people with the change of Missy. I wonder if he just thinks he's being really clever by writing this in, and he's just an idiot.
It's
Well,
like
I don't know what he's thinking.
fan
Can we just like wait until we see the resolution? Just because. Yeah.
Well, I just want to say that this season has had its fair share of pretentious moments, like the beginning of Pyramid of the End of the World. Like, what was the Doctor doing at the beginning of that episode?
Oh,
What was he actually doing?
I'm just glad there's not as many pretentious speeches this series. A few speeches
God,
that have actually been alright, so which is a huge improvement over every other Moffat season.
We should move on to the next time trailer.
No, we shouldn't. We should have our overall thoughts on the episode.
Fuck.
Oh, well, it was about okay as an episode could be, written by a classic writer for New Who.
I agree.
Now let's get Glenn McCoy back next, lads.
No.
What? Well, I just want to see.
Let's get Jane Baker back next.
Oh no.
Who's the guy?
No, Pip Baker's the one who's still alive. Jane Baker's dead.
No, wait, are you sure? I thought Jane was still alive.
No, it's Pip who's still alive, not Jane.
Who was the guy who directed Warriors of the Deep?
Some cunt.
That brilliant man.
Yeah, can we get him back?
No.
Yeah.
Joey would like him back.
You know it would be the best episode of New Who.
Right, anyway, my overall thoughts
I can't guarantee that, Joey.
This episode was decent, but it could have been so much more if it had had more time, just like basically every one part of bar the few which actually work in their time limits. And it's even more tantalising here just because it was actually quite well written, but just didn't have enough time to develop things. So, thoughts on the next time trailer?
It looks really good.
Give us a kiss. Have you all heard my theory?
Mondasian Cybermen!
Now, you heard my theory. I think that that scene that's going to be John Sim doing it to Bill, because her character arc is actually going to be her turning straight. You see, it started with a Roman in this episode, because she kind of looked at him lovingly at the end, and now she's going to end up falling in love with John Sim.
Dylan, we all know she's going to be turned into a Cyberman.
No,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
If it does, we'll see if they handle that well. Also, I don't know if I'll be able to find the picture, but the Cybermen apparently have glowing fidget spinners in this episode. God. It really looks like a fidget spinner.
You sent that to the chat yesterday, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Dylan, this is the episode where Missy starts dabbing. I think this is
dabbing fidget
autism.
Spinners.
This is autism central.
Well, and it's got John Sim as well. The autism just could be through the roof.
Yeah, but he's got a cool beard.
That clip in the trailer where Capaldi is pissing his pants over the Mondasian Cybermen.
Yeah, why can't he just call them the Cybermen? They're not the Mondasian Cybermen. They're only the Mondasian Cybermen to us because we're distinguishing them from all the Cybermen over the years when we're talking about them. Whereas in the Doctor Who universe, they're just Cybermen. Maybe you could pontificate and say... but maybe he could pontificate and say, they're the originals. But, he doesn't call them Mondasian Cybermen.
I hope he doesn't do that throughout the whole episode. Like, hopefully it's just for that one scene.
Oh, yeah. And because of that clip of him saying that, I guess it's officially pronounced Mondasian.
Well, it was always pronounced Mondasian. I mean, the name of the planet is Mondas, and not, what you say, Mondasian. It's not Mondays, is it?
Dylan's just roasting Brian right now.
Well, I have actually roasted Brian a few times. I do feel mean when I do it. Like, if you watch one of mine and Matt's podcasts on the case of Androzani,
Oh, yeah, I remember.
You got pretty roasted, my friend.
Yeah.
It's okay, Dylan. It's okay.
Also, even if John Sim is still the same shit master he was in End of Time, at least he has the beard.
There. I don't know. I'm not sure on this one. I'm quite concerned because it's a Moffat finale and it's bringing back two Masters while also bringing back the Mondasian Cybermen, who somehow have a costume design that looks worse than the one from the 60s, despite the fact they've got way more budget to play with. And it's a shame because the original costume did actually look pretty damn good, but somehow they made them look a bit retarded.
The hospital.
Also, can we talk about that poster that was released?
Oh Christ! Yeah, it's literally.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a fan-made thing when I saw it.
Same.
Yeah.
I thought it was all fan made, and I found out it was real.
It's official.
For those who don't know, it looks a lot like the Day of the Doctor poster.
Did you see the meme on TARDIS posting, Dylan?
Oh yeah, I did.
I saw it.
It was made out of it. Yeah.
It was
compared it.
And Billy Garrett John screenshotted my quote about the poster and posted it along with a few other quotes about saying how it looked really fan-made, including, I'm pretty sure Clayton Hickman said he thought it was fan-made as well. It's just like, you've got people that high up, in Doctor Who saying, oh, that looks a bit shit.
It actually does look...
I would have liked to see the Master say,
"Give us a kiss."
Stroke my beard.
Don't, Brian. He's going to say that now. That's definitely going to happen. You've screwed it. You've screwed us.
I've done it.
Like, they just reshot it because you said it and threw it in the episode.
Okay.
If that's how it worked, then a lot of the things I say would be...
Right, okay, no, shut up, Brian. We're going to end it here. Bye.